Hello and welcome to this demo on using the Invoke Method activity in UiPath Studio. Let's begin. The workflow we built for this demo receives a set of values scraped from a website, passes them to integer, and then adds them up. Let's take a closer look. We're starting with an assign activity which instantiates and adds the values to a string array. Next, we use a for each loop to parse each of the values and log the results. Finally, we're adding the results up. It's important to note that not all of the values in our array can be converted to integer. We know that this might also happen in production. If the data cannot be converted, the parse method throws an exception. This is why we'll use the TryParse method instead. The TryParse method is currently entered in the value field of the assign activity inside the for each. After the assign activity, we'll log the converted result and then the parsed result. The last activity inside the loop is another assign activity, which adds the value of the total amount. Let's run the workflow in debug mode and see what happens. Everything seems to run as expected. Now let's check the output panel for the results. The conversion results are logged correctly. The conversion of the not applicable value is marked as false, but all of the parsing results are 0. There is an explanation. Although the amount is set as a parameter for the TryParse method, the assign activity does not assign the parsed value to a variable which is not in its to field. This can be addressed using an Invoke Method activity. Let's replace the assign activity in our for each container with an invoke activity. Let's also give it a descriptive name. Alright, one of the most important things to know about the Invoke method is that the target type and target object parameters are mutually exclusive. We use target type for static methods and target object for instance methods. If both are filled in, we will get an error. If we're not sure of the type of the method used, a quick way to find out is to check the MSDN page for that method. If it has static in its signature, it is a static method, and we need to use the target type parameter in the Invoke Method activity. If it doesn't, it is an instance activity, and we need to set the target object in the Invoke Method activity. Besides checking the method's type, knowing the method signature is very useful in configuring its parameters. Since integer 32 TryParse is a static method, we'll use target type option and we'll set it to int32. The method name is TryParse. Next, let's edit the parameters for the method. Firstly, we'll need to add an in parameter for the value to parse, which will be of type string, with the value amount text. Secondly, we'll add an out parameter for the output amount of type int32, with the value amount value. Last but not least, we'll add the Boolean variable converted successfully in the result field in the properties panel. Let's run the workflow in debug again and see what happens now. Everything is running smoothly. And the run has ended. Now let's check the output panel. Both the individual values and the total amount have been logged. It worked. Note that the parsing result for the not applicable value is still 0, which is the default value, and the status of the conversion is false. And with this, we conclude our demo on using the Invoke Method activity. But before we end the video, let's quickly recap what we've learned. We used an assign activity to instantiate and add values to our string array. To parse each of the values, we used a for each loop activity and logged each conversion with a log message activity. We used the TryParse method within an Invoke Method activity. Keep in mind that the target type and the target object parameters are mutually exclusive. If both are filled in, we will get an error. Once each value was parsed with the method invoked, it was added to a total amount. In our next demo, we'll use the Invoke Method activity one more time, but with an instance method. Curious to know more? We'll meet you there.